So to call the meeting to order, please rise, join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Supervisor Moore,
Here.
Councilman Neely,
Present.
Councilman Iacilli.
Here.
Councilman Powell,
Here.
Councilwoman McNamara.
Here. All right, let's start the work session with the agenda review for the February 10th meeting. There's going to be, let's see how many, four public hearings. The first to consider the acquisition of 13 Cove Road North in the hamlet of North Sea, New York, and to amend the CPF management and stewardship plan to include the property. The second public hearing is to consider the acquisition of 130 Old Riverhead Road West in the hamlet of Hampton Bays for water quality purposes and to amend the CPF project plan and the CPF management and stewardship plan to include the property. The third public hearing is to consider the acquisition of 3841 Lake Avenue in the hamlet of Northampton and to amend the CPF project plan and the CPF management and stewardship plan to include the property. And the fourth public hearing is to consider the enactment of Chapter 263 entitled Registration of Vacant Buildings. Okay. So, Cindy, you have the first.
Yep. Resolution 247 of 2026, amend 2026 Parks and Recreation fee schedule. Town Board Resolution 228 of 2026, co-sponsored Supervisor Moore, Council Members Iacilli and Pell. Resolution to adopt amendment to Chapter 111 in connection with special parking permits.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0364 to authorize the supervisor to execute a contract with Cullen and Danowski LLP for the 2025 and 2026 annual audit of community preservation funds.
Town Board Resolution 2026-30371, authorize supervisor to execute a contract with Sound Marine Service and Supply, Inc. for repair of pump-out boat repairs.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0051 to authorize purchases and installation fencing with Residential Fences Corp. using the Suffolk County contract number FIRO 10125 and Eastern Suffolk BOCES contract number 2023-062-0707.
Resolution 2026-0115, for authorized purchase of miscellaneous highway construction from Laser Industry, Inc., Rosemark Contract, Inc., Suffolk Pavement Corp., National Water Main Cleaning Corp., and Blink Contractor, LLC, using the Suffolk County contract number MHCO11525.
Now we're adding the contract numbers. Town Board Resolution 2026-0251 to recall and amend the Resolution 2025-628. Authorize the supervisor to sign a contract extension for Ford Police Interceptor utility vehicles with Otis Ford. Town Board Resolution 2026-0254 to reject all bids for supply plumbing supplies to the town.
Resolution 2026-0259, authorized purchase from Northeast Sweep and Rental, Inc., using Sourcewell contract number 0622425-FAY for street and special sweep-related equipment, accessory, and supplies.
Town Board Resolution 261 of 2026, authorized purchases from Watchfire Signs LLC using Sourcewell contract number 030223-WCH for scoreboards, digital displays, and video board with related services.
Resolution 2026-0262, authorized purchase of gas cylinder refill rental using Suffolk County contract GRR 032824.
Can I, sorry, Sunday, can we go back to the one I just did? Can we amend it to remove that contract number from the title?
All of these seem to have the
Yeah,
contract
we've
number,
never
so
done
we
this
never
before.
had that before, but
Page
there might be.
21.
Yeah.
But there might be something that requiring it, because why are they putting it in all the resolutions now? You know,
I don't know legally whether.
We
it's
can leave it for
required or
this
not.
time, and then if we need to, we can,
let's find out. Did
So, I'm sorry.
anybody say anything to you about
I was
that?
gonna just,
No, nobody.
we don't, it doesn't have to be, it's in the actual body, it doesn't need to be in the title, too.
Yeah, I don't know why they decided this time.
Just remove that,
Well, this-
just using Sourcewell contract for scoreboards, and just remove that number 030223/WCH from the title.
It's on about 4 other ones too that
Yeah,
we just
it's on the
read.
one that we just did on 20, do you wanna remove them from yours?
Well, I'll
Yes.
just call, let's ask Tatiana afterwards. I mean, I don't know why she would all of a sudden just put them in if we didn't need them.
But they're in,
You know?
they're in the resolution, that's what I'm saying, they're in the actual resolution, I don't think they need to be in, the title can be whatever.
No, need them
It's in
in
every
both
soft
places.
close.
So why don't we just amend the title? If it's
That's
already in
what
the
that's what I'm
body.
doing.
Yeah.
Well, we have to go back now to the other ones. I just don't know why all of a sudden this work session, she would start adding them.
Title or from the body?
From the
of
title,
resolution?
leave it in the body, and that's, because it's legally in there, then if she needs it, but I don't, we don't need it in the title. Page 20
So
was Bill's
then
first
we
one.
would go back to
The one before that as well.
Oh,
page 16.
Okay,
And remove it from that one.
so,
it should just say Eastern Suffolk BOCES contract, and the word number, and the number should be removed.
contracts. Because you're using more than one.
Yeah,
You have Tatiana's cell number?
Could this be an e-scribe requirement?
Why?
It's not an e-scribe.
It's
you're
not an
gonna-
e-scribe,
no,
like a
no, no.
filling in a box on e-scribe, no.
And then
No.
page 17, Sunday also references the Suffolk County contract number. Contract number, 'cause it required.
Let me just make sure I do it right here.
What's that? Oh, you're calling her.
Hello, I got a quick question. Do we have to
And then
list the
page
contract
20.
numbers on all the titles? Because it's already in the paragraphs below. In the resolutions, the contract numbers are in the title. Do we need the contract numbers in the title?
So you want to say using Sourcewell contract and just remove number, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then again on page 21, same thing.
Does it need to be in the title?
It's gonna be soft. The question.
In the title.
She just never did it before.
Yeah,
Why?
he says they,
Okay.
you're on live TV, so you can just say that to the supervisor. I'm gonna put you on speakerphone.
Hi, Tatiana.
How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. And you?
I'm good, I'm good. This is a new change because we do piggyback of a lot of contracts from Suffolk County for different vendors. And when departments have to attach the resolution and the contract to the requisition, it was making it really difficult for them to find the correct resolution and the correct contract. So we figured we put the contract number in the title, so when they do the search,
It's easy
they
to
have
find.
to find it right away.
Okay.
So but the question is then, do you need it throughout the resolution as well? Because most of these have it listed once or twice inside the resolution too, the number.
Yeah, I don't think it matters if she puts it in.
Okay.
I mean, it makes it easier for someone to find it, for it to be in the,
Yeah, it makes it also easier for us to catalog because we were compiling many vendors in one resolution, and it really wasn't working out for
Okay.
for everybody.
okay, thank you, Tatiana.
Thank you.
No problem. Thanks. Bye.
All right.
All right, so I guess we're leaving them as is.
okay. Now the question is, what page were we on?
23? Is that right?
Did Bill Powell read the cylinder refills?
No, I think we were on 22.
22.
We are on 22.
Bills.
Resolution 2026-0262, authorized purchase of gas cylinder refill and rental use from Suffolk County Contract GRR 032824.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0268 to authorize the supervisor to renew the town's maintenance agreement with Printer Logic, Inc. for digital document management software.
Resolution 2026-0271, award and authorize the purchase of one 2026 Ford F-350 from Otis Ford using NYS OGS contract for vehicles Class 1-8 statewide.
Resolution 275 of 2026, recall and amend Resolution 2025-950 to authorize the supervisor to sign a contract extension with CDCLI.
Resolution 2026-0276, authorized purchase of Kubota four-wheel drive utility tractor from Malvese Equipment using Sourcewell contract 032525 AGI for road right-of-way maintenance equipment.
Town Board Resolution 277 of 2026, co-sponsored with Councilman Neely, authorize the renewal of landscape software government-based subscription with Dendrica LLC for Community Preservation Department.
Resolution 2026-0278, co-sponsored with Marie Moore, the supervisor, authorize supervisor to sign any and all documents with clothing bin for no-cost textile recycle program.
I think that's Tom about that.
Resolution 2026-0284, co-sponsors Micah Isilla, authorize supervisor to sign contract with L.K. McLean Associate Engineer Survey, DPC, for professional engineer service associated with design and implement software quality improvement for Tanner Neck Lane in West Hampton, New York.
Town Board Resolution 305 of 2026, co-sponsored with Councilman Neely, is going to be withdrawn.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0312 to authorize the supervisor to sign a 2026 agreement with Munistat Services, Inc.
Town Board Resolution 314 of 2026, co-sponsored with Councilman Neely, is, award and authorize supervisor to sign a license agreement with Brian Bistrian for 834 Town Line Road, Sagaponic, farming proposal, RFP number BP 2025-0062.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0318, co-sponsored by Councilmember Iacilli, to authorize an amendment to the contract with Nelson and Pope for the professional services related to building improvements at the Southampton Town Police Department and to include construction administration services.
Town Board Resolution 303 of 2026, co-sponsored with Councilman Neely, is going to be withdrawn. Likewise, Town Board Resolution 304 of 2026, co-sponsored with Councilman Neely, is going to be withdrawn.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0320, co-sponsored by Councilmember Iacilli, to declare items surplus and to authorize the disposal of vehicles and equipment.
Resolution 329 of 2026 to authorize the execution of an application for 2026 New York State Office of Children and Family Services for juvenile delinquency prevention programming. Also, Resolution 330-2026 to authorize an application to Suffolk County for 2026 funding for youth development programs to be administered by the Youth Bureau. Resolution 331 of 2026 to authorize the supervisor to sign a grant application for the 2026 New York State Office of Children and Family Service funding for sports education programs.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0291 to authorize the supervisor to sign any and all documents with Andrews Technology HMS, Inc. for the renewal of UKG web-based time and attendance software.
Town Board Resolution 292 of 2026, co-sponsored with council members Neely, Iacilli, and Pell. Authorize the supervisor to sign any and all documents with CLIO Themis Solutions, Inc. to provide professional services and property acquisition management software for Community Preservation Office.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0293 to authorize the supervisor to sign an agreement with SourcePath Contemporary LLC for the upgrade to wireless security management software.
Town Board Resolution 313 of 2026, co-sponsored with Councilman Neely. Award and authorize supervisor to sign a license agreement with Comfort Farms for 93 Butter Lane, Bridgehampton farming proposal.
Resolution 2026-0315, also co-sponsored with Mike Arcilla. Notice the bidder for Bay Avenue East Improvement, bid number BP, for my initials, I guess. 2026-008.
Resolution 321 of 2026, notice to bidders for landscaping and plant cultivation services at various town locations.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0332 to amend the 2026 adopted budget for highway equipment purchases. And Town Board Resolution 2026-0333 to amend the 2026 adopted budget for the Highway Department. Town Board Resolution 2026-0335 to amend the 2025 budget for various departments.
Resolution,
We did this one.
oh, so we did? This was,
Remember we added
amended
it,
it on the
yeah.
floor. Okay, so this withdrawn, Resolution 153, 2026, please withdraw. And then we have Resolution 323-2026, co-sponsored with Councilmember Neely. Appoint Community Housing Fund Advisory Board for 2026.
Town Board Resolution 325 of 2026, appoint members to the East Quogue and Flanders Riverside Northampton Citizen Advisory Committees for 2026.
Resolution 2026-0334, appoint members to the North Sea, Watermill, and Southampton, Tuckahoe, Shinnecock Hills Citizens Advisory Committee for 2026.
Resolution 327 to appoint members to the Hampton Bays, West Hampton, and Noyak Citizens Advisory Committee for 2026. Let me just make sure this looks good. Okay, thank you.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0356 to appoint Labor Management Committee for 2026. Town Board Resolution 2026-0287, that's not the negotiating committee, just so you know. To authorize the continuation of legal services by Vince Toomey Esquire for 2026. Town Board Resolution 2026-0286 to authorize the continuation of legal services by Sokola Stern LLP to represent the interests of the town as it relates to a litigation matter entitled Mendizabal Soto et al. Versus the Town of Southampton.
Town Board Resolution 301 of 2026, co-sponsored with Councilman Pell. A local law enacting a new Article 6B entitled Hotel Development Overlay within Chapter 330 zoning of the Code of the Town of Southampton, adding sections 330-34.5 and 330-34.10 for the discretionary review of small-scale tourist accommodations in highway business zoning districts. There is some changes to this. There is an addition of a whereas to add the public hearing dates and also adding the public hearing dates to the resolved place. And Kim has those changes.
Yes.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0345, co-sponsored by Councilmember Iacilli, to authorize the supervisor to sign any and all documents related to the Federal Equitable Sharing Agreement and certification. Town Board Resolution 2026-0263, to authorize the supervisor to sign a non-generator certification form for the New York State Energy Research and Development Authority regarding low-level radioactive waste, of which we have none.
That's good.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0265, to authorize the supervisor to submit a grant application to the Household Hazardous Waste State Assistance Program.
Very nice.
Town Board Resolution 273 of 2026, waive a portion of the showmobile and generator fees for West Hampton Chamber of Commerce Spring Fling Festival. Town Board Resolution 247 of 2026, waive a portion of the showmobile and generator fees for the West Hampton Chamber of Commerce Fall Festival on Main.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0264 to authorize the town supervisor to sign the New York State DEC Waste Transporter Permit Annual Report.
Resolution 327 of 2026 to authorize the Youth Bureau to attend and transport to the New York State YMCA Youth and Government Conference. Also, Resolution 114 of 2026 to authorize the Youth Bureau to attend the 2026 Association of New York State Youth Bureaus Annual Youth Leadership Forum.
Both such good programs.
Very good programs, and Tracy is very grateful, by the way. I met with him this past week. He's very grateful to the board for their support. He'll be attending a future session with
Oh,
us.
good.
Great.
Resolution 2026-0317 to promote police officer Andrew Blodorn to rank of sergeant in the Southampton Town Police Department. And Resolution 2026-0319 to promote police officer Joseph Capabianca to rank of sergeant in the Southampton Town Police Department. Is there anything with respect to
No, I just added myself to both of them.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0302 to prefer charges and ratify a suspension. Town Board Resolution 2026-0298 to appoint Seth Race to Senior Planner position in Land Management. Town Board Resolution 2026-0296 to appoint Skylar Virginia to Geographic Information Systems Technician 2 position in GIS. Town Board Resolution 2026-0299 to appoint Matthew Curti to Maintenance Mechanic 2 position in Parks. Town Board Resolution 2026-0300 to appoint Peter Lewis to Audio Visual Production Specialist in Education and Government Cable. Town Board Resolution 2026-0322 to appoint Dion Mitchell Hope to Minibus Driver position in Senior Services. Town Board Resolution 2026-0326 to appoint Jose David Schottenhamel Vergara to Driver Messenger position in Senior Services. Town Board Resolution 2026-0346 to appoint Ryan Abrahamson to Public Safety Dispatcher 2 position in the Southampton Town Police Department. Town Board Resolution 2026-0270, which is a termination in municipal works.
Resolution 236 of 2026, attend the DCJS Firearms Instructor Workshop in Westchester, New York for the Police Department. This one doesn't have a sponsor. I should be
Just
added
add
to that.
yourself, yeah. Sorry.
Can you add me to that?
You're on,
Page 98 of 110, we're on Resolution 238,
yeah, there's a
2026.
couple of them. There was another one prior in personnel that had a sponsor, but not a category. Okay. Which she has, yes.
Thank
We
you.
have your initials and a
There
question
was
mark
one-
as to why it wasn't entered, because we don't enter the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
sponsors. They're
That's
entered in
okay.
the department.
And there was another one that had a category of walk-on.
Yeah, that's because it was probably
Late.
late or something, so.
So this is to authorize attendance at the New York State Association of Chief of Police 2026 Training Conference. Also, Resolution 353 of 2026 to authorize attendance at the 2026 Leadership and Counterterrorism Alumni Association Conference. Also, Resolution 324 of 2026, notice of public hearing, amending Southampton Town Code Chapter 330 entitled Zoning by adding new Article 33A entitled Land Disturbance Ordinance, and I'll speak a little bit about that later as well.
That public hearing will be March 24th.
March 24th, yes, and we did have a work session on that, I believe January 14th or 15th. I have to look at my calendar.
And you made it one change to make 500, 800 to 800.
800 square feet requirement, yes. Let me just make sure I just get this right really quick for the folks. It should have been the 15th of January that we had that work session. Thank you.
Town Board Resolution 2026-0376 to recall and amend Resolution 2026-0174, authorizing the settlement of the litigation matter Anthony Miller Kendall Gamble, Corey Mims, Linda Pickney, and Maurice Richardson versus the Town of Southampton et al. Under index number 032516 of 2007. And that is that.
Do you know if those police officers that are going to be made sergeants, are they coming to the board meeting to get sworn in?
Yes.
Do this one?
Oh, yes,
That's the last one. I guess they got it in time to get it in.
Okay, all done?
Yeah, thank you.
Excellent.
We do, don't we, Hal?
Thanks, Cindy.
Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. Happy to.
Thank you, Cindy.
All right. So now what's next? Next, we're going to have a discussion of various updates regarding the town's transfer stations. And Tom Houghton, our Director of Municipal Works, with us today. Come on up. If anybody else you want to bring up, Tom?
Melissa, our administrative assistant, is in the office.
Hi, Melissa. Why don't you come on up and join us?
Well, I'm gonna be kind from up here.
Okay.
So,
All right.
figure front row. I have a file for Sunday, but, let's see, you want the copy instead of the file copy?
Oh, yeah. So we'll make sure Sunday gets that one.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sean, do you have other stuff that you want us to call us when we're done with all of this? You're gonna sit here for another half an hour?
What is it that's happening, Michael? You want him to review the code
Oh.
with us?
He may be, just in case, yeah, questions.
Yeah, we can call you back if we need you. Yeah.
Uh-oh, like a third grade teacher.
I feel like he's stuck in purgatory over there.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Thomas Halton. I'm the town engineer and director of municipal works for those at home. I'm really excited today to talk to you about what Waste Management has been doing, where we've been spending all of your money, and what we kind of have that we're looking forward to in the future that we really could use
Like,
your buyback on.
They're much stronger than the old ones.
So yeah, I've been putting this together for a couple of weeks. It's kind of a culmination of many years of work. We have been building funding and building plans towards purchasing large pieces of equipment that really are going to help us push forward into kind of a new opportunity for recycling in Southampton and to become kind of leaders in the space on the South Fork, the 5 towns, and Long Island for the most part in what you're going to see. So I have a slideshow on the TV, I have a copy here, and I have the copy in front of you. It's all the same, so we follow along together, but my printer only does black and white on the large copies, so you'll have to excuse me.
Okay.
So today I'd like to talk about, our updates of our team members that we've brought on in the past 6 months, our equipment that we plan on purchasing, and an update to our mattress recycling program. And after we get through that, we'll go into new initiatives that I'd like to explore. So we've brought on 2 new sanitation helpers. In October, we hired 2 of our sanitation helpers were hired from helpers to scale operators. So they moved up within the program. We hired a new sanitation helper in October. Tristan Allen was a scale operator and he's now an automotive equipment operator and potential heavy equipment operator in the future as he trains up. Justin McConnell and Brandon Martinez were part-time helpers that now joined on as full-time helpers. So we're able to give some of our new sanitation helper spots to existing part-time members that were great part-timers, and we're very happy to have them as full-timers.
That's great.
Marcelo Hernandez was recently hired as a full-time helper at the last board meeting, and Jack Muller and Derek Gerson are now part-time helpers. So we're at 25 full-time staff members, not including myself, and 2 part-timers. So this is the most staff that we've ever had at Waste Management, and I think everybody's really starting to appreciate having multiple people at transfer stations. It increases the safety factor. You have a buddy. You have some not accountability, but you have someone there if something happens. Whereas previously with these lower staffing levels, we've only had one person at a station, and they were by themselves, and they were really responsible for everything there. So we're helping to spread out those responsibilities and increase safety with having more people.
And hopefully we'll get an environmental facilities manager soon.
Yeah.
Get that position filled.
So as far as our equipment budget, as of this new budget, we rolled some money over from last year. So we've got 1.6 million that we're working with. We're going to spend about 200 on our glass crusher. The PO was cut, so that's been encumbered. The slab and the utilities for that glass crusher are going to be about another 200. We purchased a screening bucket for our excavator, which was purchased in late 2025, so that's already taken care of. It's on site. We're trying to install it on the excavator. We just cut a PO for a new payloader, which is a major purchase for us. Our newest payloader is a 2018, so we've gone 8 years without a new loader. We're going to retire 2 old loaders that were purchased in 2002, 2003. They've been dead for years, so we're going to trade those in on the new loader, and that's going to be a $10,000 savings. So we're going to be at $483 on the new loader instead of $493. We have our cardboard baler, which we're going out to bid for. Tatiana's working on that for us. We're going to go out to bid for a leachate tanker because our last one, the walls got too thin and we can't safely use it on the road. Waste oil tanks are going to be replaced
What
at.
does that mean, late 2025 purchase?
It means we purchased already as part of last year. I was just trying to note that that money was spent already. These are purchase orders that are encumbered but have not been completed.
They're going to do it this year.
So that's all I'm trying to say. This money's out. These are all budgeted and either have purchase orders or will be future purchases.
But the leachate tanker is,
It's going to be a bid.
it has to be a bid, yeah,
Yep.
okay.
The 2 waste oil tanks are going to be at Hampton Bays. We're going to replace the tank, and Hampton Bays tank's okay. We're going to replace the tank at North Sea and at Sag Harbor.
You just
Sag Harbor.
recently did West Hampton, right?
Yeah, West Hampton's brand new, and the new ones are going to be just like that. They're much easier to clean. They're much safer. They're easier to use. The one in Sag Harbor is essentially a 275 gallon home oil tank in a bigger box. So we're going to get rid of that and have a brand new double wall tank in there. I'd like to purchase a used excavator, and I'll talk about this more later. A used van trailer for our cardboard hauling. And I have a future project of a truck scale that I would like to put in at Hampton Bays, and all of these items fit within our current budget. So I'm essentially purchasing everything that we intended to purchase as part of the bond money, and then I have some savings as a result of a decrease in the cost of the baler. We forewent a kind of an escalator belt that would move cardboard to it. We're just going to forego that. It's like a $200,000 conveyor. Sorry for those at home. I have to remember multitask. So this is kind of what we have going on, where we're going.
Wait, when you say a PO's been issued for a lot of those items,
Yeah.
that means that we already know where it is and we're waiting for delivery?
Yes, correct. Yep, so for the glass crusher, we went to bid, we have a contract, we cut a purchase order, and now we are waiting delivery or construction of the crusher and delivery so that we can pay them and final that PO. The slab is out to bid right now, so we'll get that back and then we'll cut a purchase order for that once we have a contract. The screening bucket was bought already. The payloader we purchased off of Sourcewell contract, and we cut a purchase order to Komatsu, and we're just waiting delivery of that. It's about 6 weeks out at this point. The old loader is part of that. The cardboard baler, we're out to bid. Once the bid comes back in, we'll contract and purchase order. The tanker will be bid, contract, purchase order. The waste oil tanks are likely just going to be purchase order because we'll work through our existing contract for G&M Deech for the repair or the installation of these new waste oil tanks. And then these items are kind of up in the air, so we'll talk about these later on.
But we were able to encumber money from 2025 even without the bids coming in?
Well, it's capital, so all capital rolls over. So while some of these items were budgeted in
I
2025,
thought somewhere in your operating budget.
no, these are all capital. This is H-130 waste management equipment, that's our capital budget line. So because of some of these, like the glass crusher, the contract and the bid took a little longer and it rolled into 2026, like all that money is still able to be used. And where in past years, we haven't fully drawn down this budget, this year, we're gonna spend all the money that you give us, if you allow it. And I think that's the intent of these. I think the controller would be quite pleased that we're actually using all of the money. And I hope responsibly, too. So we'll move on. Our mattress recycling program, we started that in about August of 2025. We've recycled 22 plus tons of mattresses and box springs that previously would have gone to the regular waste stream, be it landfill, incinerator, whatever. Those mattresses, while they're quite large, they don't weigh anything. So they take up valuable space in our transfer trailers, and we are now able to replace that volume in those transfer trailers with much heavier, denser waste. So we've become more efficient in our shipping of our other waste because we don't have to deal with the large size of these mattresses. I ran our numbers, it was about over 500 mattresses that we get at the stations in 4 months. This number is going to go way up in 2026. We have a lot of short-term rentals. They turn over mattresses for new tenants. Like, there's a lot of mattress waste in the town of Southampton. So we're very excited that we're able to work with the recycler. We have to pay for this service, but the fee for the service is offset by the fee from the residents in dropping off the mattress. But the recycler deconstructs these mattresses. They take them apart, they break them down into their individual materials, and they find markets for these textiles, these foams, these metals, and they responsibly recycle them. So it's a really exciting project for me to be a part of because we're able to make sure that these just don't end up in a pile somewhere.
So right now, Tom,
Yes.
people bring the mattresses to North Sea.
And
'cause
Hampton
I know,
Bays.
like Sag Harbor, you can't.
Correct. We don't
Do
take
that,
any
but-
bulk waste to Sag Harbor because we don't have a scale operator there.
So they bring them and they throw them over the.
No,
and
so we have land sea containers, 40-foot Cassone containers, as they're called around here, just because Cassone sells them for the most part. They're a dry storage container. We stack them up. We screen them for bed bugs, mold, like nasty whatevers that are on them. If it's super nasty, we discard it because they wouldn't be able to be recycled anyway. And then we store them and we call the recycler. They come, they pick them up, and they bring them back to their recycling facility.
And if we didn't do that, they'd be on the side of the road somewhere.
Yes, I mean, we're very fortunate that our residents know that they can recycle the mattresses with us. So if they brought them to us, they would just end up in the trash.
Right.
We previously just put them in the trash because that's all we really could do with them.
So we always took mattresses.
We always took mattresses, but now we're able to have these mattresses deconstructed and broke
Recycled.
down into their components for
Great.
actual recycling.
Make it more sustainable.
Yeah, yeah. The New York State Assembly has a mattress take-back program that's in the works right now. I notified Tommy John about it. So he is a sponsor of that, and it basically creates a responsible program that you pay a fee at when you buy the mattress, and then those fees at the onset offset the disposal later. So I'm hoping by 2030, once this bill comes through, our program will end up being able to be reimbursed.
And a bit busier, maybe.
Yeah, a bit easier. There might be more sources to take, like the mattress shops might start taking back mattresses and stuff.
Oh, wait, so we're paying the recyclers to do the deconstruction?
Yeah, it's unfortunately we have to do that, but the residents are also paying us, so the cost pretty much offsets itself. So I'm looking to buy that van trailer on the previous page so that I can cart these mattresses up the island and I can save $5 a mattress. So by having the ability to ship them ourselves and use our trucks and our labor, we could save money on the tipping fee.
So Assemblyman Scavone is basically putting something forward that's kind of like the tire disposal fee that you pay when you get new tires.
It's similar to that. It is more like sorry, there's another one. It's like the paint care program, where currently when you buy a gallon of paint, you're assessed an extra fee on it. And that fee offsets the cost of the paint shops that take the paint back later. We don't get reimbursed for any tires that we recycle or anything like that. That money doesn't come full circle, whereas the paint care fee does. So it's a bit better.
Maybe we should look into getting that tire fee, like if we're taking them back and people are paying a disposal fee, you know what I mean?
So you're paying a disposal fee, but you're not paying a fee when you buy the tire, I don't think.
Paying it when you get rid of them.
Yeah, you're just paying the fee that we pay. So this has been great for us, so I'm happy to publicize it. We put a couple Facebook posts out about how many mattresses we've taken per month. So it's just something cool that I think we have going on. All right, gonna wet my whistle and then talk about some new initiatives. Interrupt anytime, let me know if I'm going too fast. First one I'd like to talk about is construction and demolition debris recycling at Hampton Bays, which is, we currently do it at North Sea, but we want to, Councilman Pell wants us to take it up at Hampton Bays, and I think it's great. Food scrap recycling, I'd like to expand our program, and I think I have a lot of good data and sources behind it. Registered medical waste recycling, which
Well, wait a minute, is the
Yes.
food scrap recycling, I know we did the pilot at Hampton Bays, and then we were gonna do it at all four.
We're at all
Are
four
we
right
at
now.
all four?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Registered medical.
What do you mean when you say you're gonna expand it?
We'll get into those slides if you don't
Oh,
want.
okay.
I have slides for all of these, so I'm just hitting the topics. Registered medical waste recycling, which we emailed about previously. I'm just working on a partner. Used cooking oil, carpet and underlay from your homes, and the truck scale at Hampton Bays. So I'm trying to increase material recovery. I'm trying to divert more from our waste stream, and I think the more niche areas we start to get involved in, the less waste is going to end up in the garbage. Like I want to give our residents as much opportunity to recycle their materials as we possibly can. So
So the question though is, and this has always come up in the past, is, you know, and you have individuals that are doing a good job of going out into the community and making them aware of these recycling projects that we have. But at the end of the day, those recycling projects are costing us money. So without a permit in place to use the transfer station, you're gonna have people that have home pickup coming in to drop off their recyclables, and we are paying that cost and they're not paying anything for
in
it.
some cases, so the only items that are free at the transfer stations are metal, commingled, so plastic bottles, metal cans, glass jars, and paper and cardboard. The commingled, we pay $60 a ton to isolate. It's a reduced fee. The paper and cardboard, we sell. So we receive revenue from that, and the metal we also sell. So C&D we charge for. The food scraps we don't currently charge for, but if we brought outside food scraps in that aren't residential drop-off, I'd like to charge, if we have to charge. Registered medical waste, I'm looking to partner with Stony Brook. Do you have a specific waste stream that you're thinking about?
No, I'm just, we had this conversation prior to this
Yeah.
board, I think of even just a nominal fee, even if it's the cost of administering the permits.
Yeah,
Just to know who is using the transfer stations, that it's residents using the transfer stations.
I'd love to. It's in the code,
It
but the
is.
code has zero fee. And when we talked about it with the last board, there was a feeling not to pursue this. But it's ready to go.
I just think we have to get a handle on who is using the transfer stations,
Yeah.
and the only way to do that is by some type of permit system whereby, you know, they're coming in. I know there's a ton of people that drop off recyclables on a regular basis because they know that their carter isn't
Yeah,
doing the
that's
right
free.
thing.
Yeah.
But they're, you know, the paper, the glass, all that's costing us money, and the idea was that was offset by the green bags, but they're not doing the green bag part of the equation.
Correct.
So even if we just start with, even if it's what the permit it costs, like, if you figure out your administrative costs and the sticker cost.
Yeah.
And we just charge that just to get a handle on who's coming to the transfer station and
I'd
make
love
sure
to.
that it's residents coming in.
So if we have a sense of that, and we can talk about that further and later, that would be amazing for us because it allows us to basically distribute permits like beach passes. Prove your residency, you get a permit. East Hampton, they have this program, and if you're not from town, your permit fee is much higher. So, like, you can still drop off garbage. Like, we want to take material. We want to take a ton of material because the more material we take, the more profit we're going to be able to make because we don't need to buy extra trailers. We just need to use the trailers we have to recycle and, excuse me, not recycle, but, like, turn over these loads. So, yeah, I think it'd be fantastic. I need to keep up with this. So, construction and demolition debris.
Why don't you give
Yes.
admin the clicker?
Perfect. I am terrible at delegating, so.
There you
Thank
go.
So to start with construction and demolition debris recycling, these are your old 2x4s, your windows, your doors, your household demo material, your kitchen renovation, like materials that you generate at your household and you need to dispose of. And according to the state, and according to our code, these are recyclable materials. They're not waste. So they're a separate stream from waste altogether, and we require that they be separated from your garbage and disposed of at the North Sea transfer station if you're bringing them to us. North Sea is a long haul from West Hampton. It's a long haul from Hampton Bays sometimes in the summer. Opening up a station at Hampton Bays would increase the availability to those residents on the west side of town, and it might even keep some of these materials out of the green bags. Like residents might be saying, I don't want to go to North Sea, I'll just cut my 2x4s into smaller pieces and I'll throw it in the green bag and I'll just get rid of it because I don't want to bother with having to go all the way over there. We would need to modify our New York State DEC permit at the station. We'd have to update our engineering report and we'd update our facility manual. That stuff's done already. I took care of it in January. I'm approaching the board to request permission to move forward with this. In order to collect the material at Hampton Bays, we would have to use roll-off containers because we don't have a covered storage area like North Sea. The C&D has to stay dry. There's too much dust and concrete debris and all this other stuff that ends up in this that we don't want rainwater hitting it, it running off, it ending up on the ground. So we have covers on roll-off containers right now. We could repurpose those at Hampton Bays. We'd use 2 roll-off containers, and the residents would hand stack their material in. It's a bit less efficient doing it this way because the hand stacking doesn't create a dense container. It's just people throwing 2x4s on a pile, and it just becomes a pile of pickup sticks. I would like to purchase a smaller excavator. That was that $60,000 excavator. I found one at All Island Equipment. It's used. This excavator, along with this pile of construction demolition debris, I can crush the debris in the container, and I can create denser loads in that container, which we would then truck back to North Sea and then deposit that into our large transfer trailers. The more waste we can haul at any one time and the denser that waste is, the more efficient we are. So we have these 120-yard transfer trailers. They're meant for this. The guys call them bottomless because they just fill them up all day and they never get to the top because they hold so much waste. So this would be how we responsibly pack as much material as we can in at Hampton Bays, and it's also helpful with some of the other bulk boxes and stuff for crushing.
They can crush wood?
Yeah, so you're essentially, so this is a 14-ton excavator, so 28,000 pounds. He's gonna roll up next to the container and he's just gonna smash with the bucket. And he's just gonna push the material down. And then for bulk waste, when we have couches and stuff in the containers, you pick the couch up, you grab it with the claw, and you just kind of crush it a little bit, and you crush it up, and you densify it, and it just allows us to pack much more waste into a container than we normally would have just by throwing a couch over the side. So that would be like ideal, pie in the sky. We don't need it to do the program, but it would be very helpful, and there is room in the budget to purchase it. Because Hampton Bays does not have a scale, we would need to charge based on the cubic yard of material. So 3 foot by 3 foot by 3 foot. That would be about $75. That is what Winter Brothers IU Waste Management, the old Norsec on Sandy Hall Road, they accept construction demolition debris. They didn't have a scale, they have a scale now, but they were charging $75 a yard as well. And that $75 a yard is equivalent to the $400 a ton based on density that we charge at North Sea. So it's the same pricing, it's just a different way to measure it. By the yard, it's less ideal because there's it's a little bit subjective when you're trying to measure a pile of 2x4s, and then subtract and take out the airspace. Weight is better, but we don't have that capability right now, so we would charge by size, like we do at everything else at Hampton Bays. And the thing that I love the most, and we talked about it with the residents bringing their material to us because they know that it gets recycled properly. We have contracts with certified recyclers. They break down the materials, they get it out to their different entities for actual recycling. When you have another waste hauler, you just don't always know that that material is ending up in the right place. So that's what I love about us. We are responsible. We have to be responsible. So I think the more material we take, the more we can ensure that these materials are recycled responsibly.
You know, Tom, where Winter Brothers, where they bring their C&D material?
Well, their C&D they're a processor. We're just a transfer, so they process and they break that material down in Yaphank on their Old Dock Road facility. After that, I'm not sure where it goes, but if they were just to throw it out after that, it's gonna cost them a whole lot more money than the recycling
So
portion.
they don't do any processing on site, they bring it to Yaphank?
Yeah, correct. So when you're taking down a house, you just load that house into these containers without the tops, you truck them up to a processor, and the processor starts separating materials, and they start separating wood, and they pull out the metal, and they look for the windows and the aluminum, and they separate the glass. Like, it's an intensive process, but it is required as per state law. So, and this would be open to residents only at Hampton Bays like
So the
everything else.
tipping fee is enough to offset the cost of the recycling?
Oh, much more. So, for example, at North Sea, we charge $400 a ton. We pay approximately $100 a ton to tip it. So we're making $300 a ton to cover us doing the breakdown, loading it into the trailer, trucking the trailer up the island, paying our staff to do the driving, the offset for maintenance and repair. So we're making a good deal of money on the C&D right now.
And it's commercial at North Sea also?
No,
or is it
so
just
we
residential?
don't have any commercial waste. We'd like to talk more about that.
Okay.
Because the more waste we take, the more money we can make. And it's kind of been taboo that only residents use the station, but East Hampton is open to commercial entities, Southold is open to commercial entities, so it's been done and it's been successful. East Hampton takes in a significant amount of waste more than we do, and they have a third of the residents. So they're able to use that volume to get better contracts and just keep their people busy. So that's the C&D. I think it's great. It's going to allow us to kind of have some redundancy as well. Like if anything ever happens at North Sea and we have to shut down, we have a secondary location that we can send our residents to that's only 15 minutes away when there's no traffic. So any questions on that before I move into food scraps?
I would just say, you know, the easier we can make it for people
Oh, yeah.
to find a reputable place to drop off stuff. I remember a couple of summers ago, you and I and a bunch of people spent a day and filled up a dumpster or two cleaning
yeah.
up off of Merchant's Path. This kind of stuff that people are just dumping there because they didn't have, you know, or didn't want to take advantage, you know, of some other way to do it. So I think this is great. Make it easier for people to do the right thing.
Yeah, more availability for our services. So, okay, food scraps, next. So our food scrap recycling is becoming very successful. Our residents love it. We have a clear peak in the spring through to the fall. We have much more waste coming in during those periods. I think it might be due to some of our residents coming out from the city and being used to having to recycle these food scraps in New York City. So we definitely have noticed a trend in that area. It kind of tails off, and we only really started in March of 2025. So we don't have a lot of data, so we're still growing, but we're at 4 town transfer stations, open to residential self-haulers. This is our Hampton Bay station right here. We have signs in English and Spanish. We have containers. The residents, they come, they drop off their scraps, they drop off their garbage. We're at a place that they're already at already. And the real goal is that they are able to take those food scraps and recycle them instead of putting them in their green bag. And they take up valuable space in that green bag, and they have to pay for each green bag. So we're giving them a way to hopefully buy less green bags. It's like 30% of waste is food scraps. So we're able to take pretty much everything now. Our piles are getting hot enough that we can compost bone, we can compost meat. Sky's kind of the limit. So 2025, our current level is that we're under an exempt program with the state. State says that if you do under 1,000 pounds a week, you don't need a registration and you don't need a permit. So it goes in sort of there's like a tiered level. So exempt can be anybody, that's the lowest level, and then you go to registration is the next highest, and then permit is the highest. Permit, you can have over 2,500 tons of material at your yard. Registration, you can do between 0 to 2,500. So we're on track at North Sea. We're at 650 pounds a week on average at North Sea. I think in 2026, we're on track to break that 1,000 pounds a week, and it'll only be the second year of our program. If we break 1,000 pounds a week, we have to turn away people. We can't have more than that being dropped off at our stations. So I'd like to apply for registration at North Sea. That would allow us to take up to 2,500 tons of food scraps, and it also kicks in the New York State recycling law, which says that any generator, and I'm probably getting ahead of myself, I'll back up on that. We'd utilize our existing composting area. We'd need to update our facility manual and engineering report, just like we did for C&D at Hampton Bays. And it would be free for residents, and if we brought in commercial, I'd like to charge $85 a ton. And that's what the New York City municipal stations are charging in Staten Island. There's one in Queens and one in Brooklyn for food scraps. So I think it's a kind of comparable. Still have to do a little more research on the tonnage fee. That would require, I believe, a public hearing and an amendment to our fee schedule. So we still have more to do.
What is the odor on this?
So there's that. If you're doing it correctly, there is just a organic, rich smell to it. So we need to bulk. There is some odor, but it's not supposed to be. It's not supposed to smell like anything's rotting, anything's dying. We have enough wood once our more bark gets back online to be able to do a 3-to-1 ratio of wood or browns to the greens. So material will come on site. Within 24 hours, it'll be windrowed. And once it's windrowed, we then cap it with
What
more.
does that mean?
So windrows are, I'll draw these on here. They are a pile shape. So it's usually 30 feet wide by 15 feet tall. And it's this triangular pile. Think of a long prism. All right. And
They buried inside.
yeah, so the waste is all mixed inside, so the food scraps and the browns are mixed inside, and it creates this like carbon to nitrogen ratio. We want a 30-to-1 carbon to nitrogen ratio in there. And then you have the microorganisms that start to like break everything down. And when you hit 155 degrees, you start killing pathogens and creating a safe material. This is the most efficient shape for getting enough oxygen in the pile and generating enough heat in the pile to actually break down all of that waste in there. Once we have this pile shape, we'd take some of our wood chips and we'd cap it. So that cap keeps away the vectors like the birds and any potential rats, and it helps keep the smell down significantly as well. So the state requires that we mitigate for noise, which we're not generating any additional noise because we already have the grinder, we have the loaders. They make us mitigate for smell if we cap, and people successfully cap with it. And the third one was just like, forget the third one, I'm sorry. But we're able to actually isolate this pile from the air with the wood chips and hopefully keep everything down. And once it starts breaking down within a couple weeks, like you're really not able to visibly see that material anymore. Kind of becomes all mixed together, and it's definitely much less of an issue. I'm going to be presenting at the North Sea CAC if you all approve of that. Just to kind of dissuade any fears they may have if you say that we can kind of move forward with this and answer any of their questions they have. And at the Sustainability Committee on
Move forward with what? Making it commercial?
move forward with this registration of allowing more material out of our
Over
yard.
1,000 pounds.
Oh, over
Yep.
1,000.
And plus, when this stuff heats up, when it gets so hot, the rodents don't want to be near it, and the birds don't want to eat it because it's too
Yeah.
hot.
Right.
And
This is following best practices, or there's other places where this has successfully
yeah,
been
absolutely.
done?
There's a science. Most of upstate New York's doing this. Farms do this. We currently do it now just without a large scale. We accept our scraps, we put them in we do a conical pile instead of a long windrow, so it looks like a cone just on a table. And we just do it on a much smaller scale. We don't have any issues, but if you just have to do it right when you get to a much bigger scale.
So manually, an employee takes the bag out of the container and puts it in the triangle?
No, so we tip it on a concrete pad. We break it open, we go through it, we make sure there's no additional plastics or metals or just straight up garbage in there. And then we'll scoop that up with our payloader, and we'll take the payloader to the back pile.
Okay.
And we'll drop that scoop in, and then we'll go grab 3 scoops of browns. So 3 scoops of ground wood, we don't have a lot of sawdust, some leaves, and then that 3-to-1 ratio. Then we'll mix that, and then we'll add that to this windrow. And you just kind of incrementally build that windrow out. You start from nothing.
And we thought, Tom going to talk to the North Sea CAC about this idea, might be a good way to, get them involved in the conversation.
Yeah, that's if you guys are interested. If you're not interested, then there is nothing we do.
Well,
Also, you're gonna need a slab with some walls on it to mix this stuff up with.
Yeah, so I want to use we have those compost drop-off or compost pickup pads just next to the recycling building. We have 2 of them. I'd like to start using one of them for that. So we have the walls already, we have the slab, we have something to start with.
What do you mix it with? You said brown. What's the
Yeah,
compost?
so our residents drop off leaves and brush at the station, and
Oh,
we
leaves
grind
and
that.
brush.
We grind those brush and logs up, and it's like chipped wood. It's mulch essentially. And then we grab that mulch and we mix that with food waste, and we use our own materials to generate actual compost. And hopefully we can sell it. That's the ultimate goal.
And I do home composting, and it's amazing how the pile shrinks.
Oh yeah.
As it composts, it goes from a big pile to
Even
tiny
just
little-
our leaf piles, they shrink dramatically, sometimes up to about 1/3. So, so that would be kind of the registration. What the registration also does is it kicks in the New York State mandatory food scrap recycling law, which says that any institution, restaurant, business within a 25-mile radius, if they produce more than 2 tons of food scraps a week, they have to bring those food scraps to a recycler. Right now, that material is going in the trash. It's in their dumpsters, and it's being disposed of as garbage. This law would essentially create like a micro market in this area that these restaurants would now have to, or would want to contract with local carters. The carters would pick up their scraps, they'd bring it to us, we would compost those scraps, and we'd be able to create this like movement in Southampton. On Long Island, there are no other recyclers. You're talking about Queens and Brooklyn. I've spoken to the DEC, they're absolutely thrilled about this. They're trying to push this. We would be the first that hit this level. For this type of program out here. We have all the equipment, we have the staff, we have the yards, we have the feedstock. The only thing we're not doing is taking in that organic waste. So it's really exciting. We would do 2,500 tons maximum. Like I said, there's no one else in Suffolk County doing this, and I think the next furthest is Westbury, Queens. There's nothing like this out here.
And what would we would charge for the?
Yes, we would charge for the
Commercial.
drop-off, and then we charge on the way out as well. So,
What does that mean on the way out?
so when we sell it as compost,
Oh,
obviously offer it free to our residents like we do with everything else for our single ground mulch, our double ground mulch, our leaf litter. Our residents are funding our station. But for commercial entities that really want this compost, like landscapers and farms and all that, we would charge them for purchase of it. So.
but isn't there, did you say, or I thought that you couldn't accept things like bones, right? Chicken
So that was
bones,
kind of
so-
on our very small scale where we couldn't get hot enough. When we start to get into these big windrows, we can hit these high temperatures.
Because that would, right now, it's gonna require someone picking through what you put on the slab, right?
Yeah, exactly. So the best thing about taking from these commercial entities is that the material is so much cleaner than the residents dropping it off, because you have someone in that kitchen that is diverting just the materials that they're supposed to divert. You have that person sorting that's educated on it, and there's going to be a big education component involved with this as well. in talking with these businesses and restaurants and institutions to let them know how to do it, what is required to be sorted out. And right now, the residents kind of throw anything and everything in there. So this is done in many other places, just not really on Long Island. It's just starting to get here. I met with the state like the first week of January. They actually came to my office to ask me about this. So yeah, they gave us their assurances that they would work with us on the registration, that they would streamline it for us, that they would push it through, just because they are so excited about us potentially doing this.
Thank you, New York State.
Yeah,
Wow.
New York State
Yeah.
DEC. So this
Having
is-
some real-life examples from other places, I think is,
Yeah.
would be very helpful.
Okay.
You know.
Well, yeah, we would be it for Long Island. And then another item is that the US Open is looking to work with us as well for this year's Open. They want to go zero food waste at their event. They're going to have 150,000 people over 6 days of, or 2 days of practice and 4 days of tournament. They've contracted with Maggio to be their carter. They want to use BPI certified compostable utensils, plates, napkins. They want to sort all of their waste into food scrap containers. And unless we obtain a registration, all of that has to go in the garbage because there's nowhere close enough to feasibly recycle that food waste. So we would have this massive publicity opportunity with the US Open to show that this waste is being generated here and we're also composting it
Are
here.
you going to be able to handle whatever
Yeah,
comes in from that?
They're projecting 40 tons, which is a drop in the bucket
Okay.
to 2,500 tons.
Yeah.
There'd be some difficulties, and we'd have to stay open later, just they do all of their waste collection.
Some
after.
logistical challenges.
Yeah, some logistical challenges, but I think we could work it out. I met with them a couple weeks ago, and I had a Zoom call with them just to understand what they would be looking for and how they would do it. And honestly, all we have to do is accept the material. We would charge them the same fee that we would charge everybody else.
And you're what, maybe 4 miles away?
4
from
miles.
Something?
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't remember if that's how the crow flies or if it's road travel, but that's going to keep trucks from crossing the canal after hours. I think it would be a fantastic opportunity for us to work with someone as big as the Open and to just show that, if we can do this. And if we can do it, then bigger towns out west can do it. And, I'm just really excited about it, and I just want to be able to help us to obtain this opportunity.
Be able to get the registration done before June?
Yeah, so the state said they'll pretty much
Push it through.
push it through for us. So,
Who you dealing with, this DEC?
Dan Riggio, I'm dealing with our local reps, but they know everybody in Albany. I already have most of it written up. Kind of preemptively started writing this because it's something we're gonna have to do in the future anyway, I figured. But this would be a fantastic opportunity to have all this come together, and I think we'd have it come together before June.
Okay.
So,
And actually, this would be a good practice for us to do if we wanted to go all
Long-term.
commercial.
yep.
Yep.
And, it's a lot at one time, but if we could handle it, then we can keep on going forward with
Good
it.
test run.
Yeah, they're talking about dropping off every 2 to 3 days, so it's not, it could be a lot of material. They really don't know how much material as well, which is odd to me, but, I think it should be really awesome.
Well, it would be a good test.
Yeah, good
Do it
test
through
run.
the Open.
Yep,
Sure.
but in order to do it, we have to have the registration,
So do
otherwise,
we need to do a resolution to authorize you to
That's-
submit the?
that's what I would like to
so,
do.
yeah.
You, Maria, would be signing a state form, so I was kind of trying to get through this and understand what the board's willingness to do was for this type of program, and then I would draft a resolution for you to sign that would authorize you to submit a C&D registration application and a composting registration application to the state,
I think we should try it.
so.
I agree.
With the C&D, I mean, we're not gonna take big chunks of concrete.
No, we don't take concrete or brick. There's too much danger with that.
Yeah.
Just in unrecognizable materials as well, like we don't take that now, we wouldn't take it in the future, it would just be expanding our operation to Hampton Bays.
It's basically, for Hampton Bays, it's the person who who redid their bathroom themselves, has a couple of buckets of, garbage cans of scraps.
Yeah, they did a window, or they want to get rid of a door.
I just think people think when they hear construction, demolition, debris, they're thinking concrete, brick, asphalt.
Yeah, we don't take that.
You're
We've
not
never
gonna take-
taken it, we don't take it.
Make that clear.
Yes, yes.
I know, you still have more to get through,
Yeah,
but
the latter items are pretty quick.
well, I just want to say that I think, to Maria's point, and I know that, we've talked about this, and you've done some things with CRC in the past, perhaps creating some sort of menu of some kind of like what programs are available, what's allowable, what's not allowable for us to put online and
Yeah.
do a blast.
Yeah, it's overdue.
To the public. We could do that. And I know some of this is more of an envisioning of where you'd like to go as well, but what we have now, let's get that out there so people see it, they know what to do. I also know that Brookhaven Town does they have town pickup.
They have a
but-
whole,
yeah.
they have town pickup too, which is a whole nother story, but
But they do a mailing booklet that goes out. Do we do anything like that?
we don't. We are estimating that about 15% of our residents use the transfer station,
Yeah.
which is a very small number. Most
Right.
people, I believe, have private carders.
Right.
So we haven't, and they also have like a specific division dedicated to education and outreach as well. So, I mean, it's something we could do if we develop the right program.
I mean, as you expand, I think it might be
Yeah.
a good idea to send something out. And I know you're all about sustainability, and
Well, it'd be
I'm with
great
you
to have
on
that
but-
support, because
Yeah,
there's so much junk mail out there, another piece wouldn't
right.
really make a dent.
It would be
So,
good for families to know if they have that opportunity. Because I know that the people would, like you said, there's 15%, but there are people that I have spoken to that say, oh, they're surprised to hear it and they want to engage. And I posted something when you just opened the thing.
To have that fridge magnet or something like that.
Yeah, they're
you
like,
know?
oh, I didn't know that. Like, give me some information on that. So if we can maybe try to do a little outreach,
Yeah,
that would
that'd be great.
And picking up where we started, where you started earlier, having more staff at these, because I'm a regular user of the Sag Harbor and the North Sea transfer stations.
Yeah.
Having more staff there, these folks, your folks, help direct people as to, oh, this goes here, that goes there, this is what you can put in.
I always say they get the most face time with our town residents than
Right.
any other division we have, maybe outside of parks, and the beach lifeguards in attendance. Like, our staff sees residents every single day, and they know them by name usually, and it's just, it's great, and
regular
they're our face of the town.
Right.
So I really try and stress that to them when we go through the interview process and we hire them on. I'm looking for people that can talk to people.
And we did authorize additional clothing allowance
Oh, thank
in the
you.
new
Yeah, we got some new jackets. They like,
union, so keep them looking sharp.
Yeah. Well, I don't know that any of those uniforms were for waste management, so,
I think
Oh,
some
no.
of them were.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
we'll check.
we'll check.
But
Alright,
yeah,
yeah,
I
I'll
thought it was
double check.
for
I didn't see
anybody
this,
that
but,
was working
Um,
outside.
Yeah, we just purchased jackets and hats for everybody for the
Also,
winter. Yep.
the scrap wood in Hampton Bays, that also helps people in West Hampton and
Yeah,
farther west.
Flanders,
Flanders who don't have to go to,
Definitely more
North Sea, across the canal. And if this works out, we might want to do something in West Hampton Transfer Station. in
yeah,
the
we would
future.
have to have a scale operator there though, so then, we need additional staffing, and that's a bigger step. It's achievable, but it's a bigger step,
It's the,
so.
it's the two things, cutting down on traffic going across the canal, and if people are willing to go to the Hampton Bays instead of crossing the canal or throwing it on the street or,
Yeah,
or in the green bags, it's a no-win. It's a win.
Maria, you had something?
Yes, I thought that there was talk last year about having large household items be able to be taken to West Hampton. I was wondering if that ever happened.
I try to, and our staff like to call out on Saturdays, and I was really worried about staff availability and people not being there and the disruption of the program. So with
We can look at it again, because
Yeah,
since we got new help, more help now.
Yeah, we would need probably one more scale operator, because somebody goes, I basically would have to say that nobody can go on vacation on the weekends. And I didn't think of that the first time around, which is just not fair to them. So I can offer like a monthly thing at West Hampton, like where we can plan ahead and the guys know that like, all right, hey, this is the date that somebody's got to be there. But the weekly thing, I put the nix on because it didn't seem sustainable with our staff actually taking time, like well-deserved time off from work. So, it is a place I'd like to move forward in the future because we have the space there.
Yeah,
So,
even if you did it once a month, people would rather, they can just wait.
and we
instead
did
of having
move
to
the
drive.
stop day to West Hampton this year. So we used to have 4 household hazardous waste days at one at each transfer station. And in the past 3 or 4 or 5 years, we had it at Sag Harbor. And we had a resident call up last year and they're like, hey, why can't you have it at West Hampton? So this year we are having it at West Hampton and we're going to alternate each year between Sag Harbor and West Hampton, in addition to Hampton Bays and North Sea that we have every year. So we'll try and pick up and just try and be more flexible
Yeah.
for our residents.
And, like Bill's point, keep people from having to drive east.
Yeah, and if it's more convenient, then they're more likely to dispose of their trash properly. So, we're getting a little long. I'll breeze through the rest of these. So, registered medical waste. I approached the board previously through email. So, I'd like to offer sharps collection at our transfer stations. Lancets, syringes, needles. Anybody doing like weight loss drugs or anything like that, they always,
Oh, geez.
it's just a very prevalent item in households these days. And you either have to go to a hospital or a doctor's office to dispose of these sharps. We have a station that people go to every week, every day, in some cases. This one gentleman likes to dispose of his 3 soda cans every day when he comes to Hampton Bays. But by offering these at the stations, we would be offering availability for responsible and safe discarding of these types of sharps.
And you're working with Stony Brook right now on this?
Yeah, I had a Zoom call with them December 17th with 2 people from Stony Brook. I've been following up, trying to see if that is going anywhere.
I think it's a great idea, Tom. I've actually received questions about that.
Oh, wow.
So,
Okay.
yep.
So maybe I can enlist the board's help in trying to get Stony Brook, because I
You
might
have my
actually be
full
talking to the
support.
right people.
Yeah, my full support.
Because we would be the collection point, we would transport it, and then they would recycle it like they recycle the rest of their sharps anyway.
It would be especially in like town facilities, because you have people that have insulin and
Yeah.
other things and.
Yeah, and we would get our containers from New York State. New York State has a sharps program, and they want to give us the supplies. They just can't pay for disposal. So if we could be the intermediary that puts these 3 pieces together, the state, the hospital, and us, I think we really could expand these services to our residents.
Would you put these, in like in the buildings themselves, like in the,
We
like?
could.
Like Hampton Senior Center, like?
It's a good idea.
Yeah, I don't see why. I mean,
Good idea.
they're safe. They're meant so that once it's in there, you can't get in there.
Yeah.
So I don't think there would be a hazard to the public.
Do you put loose sharps in these, or can you put a sharps container, like a
You can do
small
both.
sharps container in them?
You can do both. It's not advisable to transport loose sharps anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, you would be able to put
So I'm
that.
saying, like most pharmacies, I think when you get sharps, they supply you with a sharps container.
Yeah, so you
And
just-
residents don't have a place to take that sharps container.
So you just pull a door open, you drop your sharps container in there as long as it fits, and that's it.
And we take it somewhere, or someone comes
We
to
would
take it from
transport it.
us?
That would allow us to. There's a course. They give you special gloves and a grabber. Like there's almost like a certification involved with it, and there's a transporter requirement
Might be
or
able to get
regulation, but.
Well, the
That-
police are already doing it. I know they're at
They
police
do a
stations.
drug take-back program
No
at the police
needles.
station.
Oh, they don't do the needles?
No, it's just prescription medication, which I don't want to do, because
Too
there's
dangerous.
too much risk of, I don't know, I feel like it's too much risk of something at night breaking into
Well,
there.
that's why it's in the police station.
Correct, yeah.
Right. Right.
But yeah, if I can get Stony Brook on board, then I think we have a program. We have an automotive equipment operator that has a trailer that travels to all the stations every day. It's an easy thing to add to that route.
Then someone's driving it to Stony Brook, or where?
Stony Brook, Southampton,
Oh, okay.
in the village, or whichever facility they want. Like, they have multiple facilities throughout the town. They all take sharps.
But I think they all should be put like in the senior centers,
Yeah, that would,
in town hall.
yeah, so let's
Then someone has to be assigned to picking them up at every
we have
location.
custodians at every location that travel to, like, building maintenance, waste management, Ms. Works, we can take care of the transportation, because that would be the most costly factor to this if we had someone from the outside.
But you only would check like once a week or something.
Yeah, they would just report when it's full, like we do with paper and like we do with when people need water deliveries. So we have systems for other types of goods. That's that one.
Once a month or something.
Use cooking oil recycling, like from your home fryer, stuff like that, we're currently offering it at North Sea. I'm working with a company that drops off the container. There's no cost to us, and they come suck it out when it's full. So it's just a pass-through cost that we can, or excuse me, no cost option that the town is able to facilitate just by being that central place that residents are coming to bring their waste anyway. So I'd like to expand this to the other stations.
Where are we doing this now?
It's at North Sea, so if you're looking at the waste oil tank, it's like to the right of the waste oil tank. So if we currently accept motor oil, we can take cooking oil too. So
Right.
just keeps it out of the garbage. People aren't throwing a gallon bottle in their green bag. Just another way to help divert this
But I
tonnage.
think this has to be PR'd more because a lot of people don't know about this.
Yeah, correct. I am definitely bad at publicity. So that's something that I'll hopefully work with
Michael can
CRC
do
on.
a public announcement.
Yeah, and I think also too, it might be good. We're working. We're now going to be starting to coordinate with Highway and CTV on some of their projects. We get CTV involved with your office to kind of talk about what goes on at the transfer stations, and I think that's.
Yeah.
And you could talk a little bit about the programs.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot of options if we're able to put these
Yep.
together. So
So it would go in the same container as the motor oil?
no, so two separate containers. So ours is a small 55-gallon drum. If we start getting a lot of waste oil, used cooking oil, we can upgrade to like a 200-gallon that they'll drop off. So it's separate. We have a sign. I have a sticker machine now, so we make signs. And the kind of the last recycling avenue that I'd like to go down is carpet and underlayment. Right now, we don't have any way for carpet recycling at our stations, so residents dispose of it in bulk waste. The people that recycle our mattresses offer the carpet service, so we could pass along or pass through that cost and help get this carpet recycled instead of just ending up in the trash. So it would be bundled 50-pound rolls, whether it's 10 feet long and a couple rolls, or narrow and rolled a bunch of times. But we would stockpile that and either truck it up island or have them come pick it up from us. But just another avenue to make sure this material ends up being diverted from our waste stream instead of part of it.
Okay.
So
Oh, so what is it now? So somebody
Goes right
brings
in the
a
trash.
carpet.
Goes right in the trash. Goes right
in the
Well,
bulk.
how do you
Diversion.
charge for it? Is it still $35?
Right now, it's $200 a ton for bulk waste. No, it's $300 a ton for bulk waste. I'm sorry, 200 was the old number. And I haven't equated that out to, it would be more expensive to recycle it this way for the residents. It would cost more money, essentially. So I can meter that out, but that's also the recycling fee for us to, or we would pay, I think, about $25 a roll to get rid of it. So if we decide to like move forward on this stuff, when we have a work session a public hearing to update the waste management fee schedule, we can kind of work through these.
Do we have to roll it, or if it comes from?
No, it's gonna come rolled.
No,
yeah.
I mean, when the people drop it off, did they have to roll it up?
Yes.
So
It's
right
easier to
now,
transport that way too.
Yeah.
now somebody could roll up an old carpet and bring it, and then how would you charge them for it?
We charge $300 a ton, which is, what was that, was it like 7.5 cents a pound?
Oh, it would be weighed?
Yeah, we weigh it at North Sea. That's the only place that we take it right now. We also, we take it at Hampton Bays too, but we charge by the size. So probably like $15 at Hampton Bays.
I was gonna say, when you fill up your SUV with everything you have to throw away, it's about 15 or 20 bucks.
Yep. So. And just the last thing that I'd like to move forward towards maybe the end of the year, 2027, would be the installation of a truck scale at Hampton Bays. That would give us the redundancy, and it's going to increase our operational effectiveness by having a mirror image of North Sea at Hampton Bays. We can kind of have an east location and a west location, so that people that are bringing those bigger wastes or those anything that needs to be weighed, they can weigh it at Hampton Bays. And I think towards the future, I'd like to shift our operations to Hampton Bays, get our trucks on the west side of the canal instead of on the east side of the canal, because that'll decrease the amount of traffic in Southampton too, to some point. And And it would definitely be better for our employees who mostly live west of the canal. But really, that only involves our heavy equipment operators starting at Hampton Bays instead of starting at North Sea. But I think at truck scale, we priced one out based on Town of Brookhaven has a contract. Priced the truck scale out at, I think it was like $90,000 to $95,000 for a scale, but there's a lot of extras that you need to put in, like the foundation and a small booth. So I would, in the future, like to do a capital project using the money from H-130, our equipment budget, to.
Are we seeing more usage of the transfer station by residents or less? Because I mean, like today's garbage pickup on my street and every single person has cans out for a hauler to come pick up.
We're seeing more, but it's not like a crazy amount more. It's kind of flat, to be honest. Like it's not ramping up, and it'll probably ramp up if the carters start to charge more. But
I mean, because this was always supposed to be an enterprise fund, it was supposed to fund itself, and I understand, you know, I think we have a responsibility to have a place for residents to go when they can't, you know, afford to take their, you know, pay a carter, and I also, you know, understand that this keeps, you know, more stuff out of off the sides of the roads, and, but at the same time, it's, you know, you have to strike that balance where you have residents where they don't have garbage pickup as a tax that they're paying for. They're paying to have their stuff carted. You don't also want them funding, you know, another avenue for others to get rid of their waste when they're already paying to get rid of their waste. You know what I mean? Like it's.
yeah, a little bit. I think the sticker might head that off a little
Like
bit.
that's what I'd like to see.
Yeah.
I'd like to get a handle on how many people, because right now we don't even know. We don't know if residents from outside of the town are coming in. You know, it's.
So if they're bringing any type of bulk waste or any type of waste that they have to pay for, we do check to verify that they're residents. If they're just bringing green bags or they're bringing paper, recyclables, and they're in a non-commercial vehicle, we don't check, just because we're getting 400 plus cars a day coming through the station. We would be getting yelled at by residents if we had that line backed up all the way to the gate, because we're checking everybody's individual ID every time. A sticker would streamline that tremendously.
We might even, you know, we're at the point with the beaches that we might not even need to do stickers and we can just do LPRs.
Yep.
Which would be even easier because then you would take out the fee for then it would just be, you could start with a registration just to see how many people.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. So, it's in the code already. We just need to assign a number to it, a value to it. So
Good idea.
it's, yeah, once Kristen's got the LPRs locked down at the beaches, like, could be great. I just don't know how expensive they are.
It's, to add one there would, I don't think would
Nominal.
be a huge cost.
Okay. I'd love to have the stickers. I've researched into what the sticker would look like and the size and all that stuff.
He already has a prototype.
Well, we had to look it up because it exists.
Yeah.
There was just no appetite for it.
And you do, like we do beach pat, full year and summer only and
Yeah, we might do like
variations.
every other year or something like that, make a 2-year pass or something, just to like try and cut down on office work. But if it's an LPR, then it doesn't matter, it can be yearly. So LPR is the way to go, because then it's just computer work.
I would just
They
like
come
to
out
have
for
just a
3 months.
registration, you know, start with a registration, see how many we're talking about, you know.
Great. And then just coming soon, 2026. So we're expecting hopefully to hire an environmental facility manager. We're canvassing right now. Glass crushing plant should be arriving sometime spring, summer.
Don't forget to get the enclosure for it.
Yeah, that's
Really
good.
important.
We gotta get the hoop.
Get the hoop, because when you're not using it, you can always back some of your equipment in to keep it dry.
It's a big plant. It's 70 foot long.
Yeah.
Cardboard baler should be coming. Front end loader is about 6-7 weeks out. We're going to be ordering a new service truck. There's a resolution on, I believe, for that. 2 new push-out trailers on order out of the operating budget. So those are POs cut, and they're being built. We're about 12 weeks out on those. We have a walking forward trailer getting upgraded with a 3rd axle to take heavier loads up island, because we're able to operate with overweight permits. So we have enough volume, we're just not able to fill it up all the way because we're hitting our weight limit on it. That 3rd axle gets us more weight per trailer. The return of the Moorbark grinder, once it's done getting fixed, and cash discount pricing. So there will be a credit card fee to help offset the credit card fee that we have to pay for residents that use credit cards. It's 3%, it comes out of our budget, to offer the convenience of that. And we're gonna do the same thing that the town clerk does and offer that cash discount pricing so that the credit card convenience fee can be passed along instead of us having to eat it.
Is there gonna be a problem accepting cash? I mean, I know they already do, but it's a
Oh,
lot.
we take cash currently. So what I've done is the credit card fee will now be, was it 3% or 4%? So it'll be 3% higher than the cash price, so that I will still be taking whole dollar amounts for cash. Instead of, so take a tire, for example, I think it's $6 to recycle a tire. Instead of making the cash price $5.87, we're keeping the cash price at $6, and then the credit card price would increase by 3% to $6.18, because we don't really care about change when it comes to paying by credit card, just to try and not.
The only other question I had was, have the test wells been completed? Have we gotten any results?
So we have the test wells, they monitored them. I didn't check the results, I got a PDF email
Okay.
with that. All of our compost areas are on pads, which is exactly what the state wants. They're all slopes, so we have runoff as well, so once the water hits them, it's running right off instead of sitting there and soaking into the wood and pulling out any heavy metals or anything like that are in there. So we're in pretty good shape there.
What about the green bag dispensers?
Green bag dispensers, I need to have a meeting with the controller and purchasing to work out our credit card vendor, because they are not comfortable with the credit card vendor that the bags came with, but I'm also not receiving any other options from them. So I'm in a bit of a hard
It's
place.
taken a long time to
Well, I
work that
just-
out. Maybe your new assistant town engineer can jump in on that.
It's more of a Dorothy Tatiana thing.
Yeah, well, I'll have to get on that,
Yeah,
those
would
two.
you? Because they're just sitting there now.
No, but they look good. Sitting
So we ordered extra bags. I have the bags stockpiled in the garage across the street. So like, we're ready to go. I just need to start this up again. and
So
have
that
them
was the other
find-
question then. Can vendors continue to contact you to get bags in
Yeah,
the
of course.
interim, so they don't have to put orders in?
Yeah, they can. At some point, I'd like to transition away from them putting orders in with the company and putting orders in with us, but that involves us putting in an upfront order, probably in the order of $40,000 to
Well,
$50,000.
the ones that I've spoken to don't want to order any anymore. They want the town, they
Yeah,
want to just be
yeah.
able to tell customers you can go get them at the transfer station.
Yeah, so North Sea can still call
Because
us.
it's a lot of money that they're responsible for, because it's not just bags, it's our fees that they're collecting. And
Yeah.
at the end of the day, one pack of bags goes missing, and that's a huge expense on that
And they
business.
pay our fees up front.
Yeah.
So it's cash on delivery, or
Yeah,
check
so
on
it's
delivery.
kind of crazy the way it works.
So that's my presentation. Yes.
So, Tom, I just want to say this was a stellar presentation.
Thanks. I didn't sleep
seriously.
last night. I was nervous.
Seriously, it was excellent,
Well,
very
you
well
nailed it.
organized, excellent work. And I just want to say, I know that you've, over the past year, you've been working with me and Bill and the Sustainability Committee on trying to organize a lot of these initiatives and talking with some of the sustainability members as well. And I know they're very pleased with your work. So just from that perspective alone, you've done a great job. So I
Thanks.
just wanna
Yeah, I
commend you.
wanted to make it organized and easy to understand, because sometimes I sit at that table and we just ramble about stuff, and
Of course.
even I get lost talking about what
Yeah,
we're talking
yeah.
about. So, yeah, I hope this was helpful, and
Very.
it sounds like I'll draft some resolutions
Yes, please.
for the registration
Yes.
and the C&D.
Your priority. I wanted to ask about, you've got a great list of stuff here.
Yeah, so the-
Prioritizing is maybe a challenge.
Yeah, so
And
all the purchasing stuff is like on the way. Like, that's not a problem. So it's just completing the registration.
And Tom, let's also set up some time. We'll sit down with CTV as well, and maybe also if you could work with CRC in the meantime to draft some kind of menu.
Yeah, we have old stuff that
Okay.
we can refresh.
All right,
So
cool.
there's always a starting point
So the
here.
registration resolution is what we're walking away with, that the board has to do.
Yes. Yep. Well,
now.
I'll draft it and then I'll give it to you. So if you guys want to walk it on next week, or you want to wait till the meeting after that and like put it.
Well, it
together.
depends on what your, timing is for the US Open.
Honestly, the quicker I can get it, the better.
You looking for the resolution, they didn't want that.
Does anybody mind to
I
walk
want the
on for
resolution.
Tuesday?
I would feel better if you went to the
Have the
North Sea
board's
CAC
support.
before we
The DC doesn't care
authorized
about the
expanding the
resolution.
program.
It was just
For the US,
food
the US
scraps.
Open.
I know, I would rather have the conversation with the
When is that?
NCCAC before we
February
expand the
17th,
program.
to talk about the food composting program, I think, with the
I
North.
mean, I'm okay with
CCAC.
going through with the resolution, but with the caveat that they'll have a conversation.
Yeah, that would still be before the following meeting anyway, right? So, or maybe not, but we'll talk to the CAC.
Because we used to have a solid waste advisory committee,
Yeah.
and it was members from North Sea, because it's not just about the operation of the transfer station, it's about something that they've lived with in their community for a long time that has not always been a positive impact on their community. They have another, there's another waste yard across the street that they have impacts from, which
Specific
isn't our
property.
problem, but it's just an ongoing thing, and I just,
We could put you in touch, why don't we just put you in touch with the CAC chair person, and we'll.
T already has, so
Okay, so-
T was in contact with them, and I wanted to say, let's wait until after this work session, so I could see if you all wanted
Yeah,
me
yeah.
to talk to them.
Yeah.
So now I'll go back and I'll work with T, and I'll attend the next meeting, and,
Right.
yep, I just wanted to make sure that this was a go on our ends before I went and talked to the CAC.
Awesome.
yeah, I mean, but if we need the resolution, I'm fine with doing the resolution with the understanding that you're gonna be going and talking to the community and.
Yeah, I can promise to not submit anything, or we cannot sign anything
Until
until
you
the
have that
community's
meeting.
happy
Yeah, how
with it.
about that? We'll do the walk-on, and then we just won't,
Yeah, that'd be great.
at least get that done.
Wait for an update.
And then the C&D, what was it you had to do to get
It's the
that
same
into
thing.
Hampton Bays?
It's the same signature, so,
Not two separate?
it'll be two separate signatures, but I'll just put them on the same reso.
Okay, however it's best, you could do two or just on one,
Yeah.
however it
Might be
makes
better
more
off doing
sense.
separate ones,
Yeah,
just
sure.
in case.
I'll just swap out the language.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Very
Good
much
job.
appreciated.
Very good.
Long term, what's the C&D gonna be? Where is it gonna go? Brookhaven's cell is closing down, right? It was
Well,
supposed to be
Brookhaven-
this year.
Brookhaven's really only getting ash, they're not getting C&D for the most part.
Yeah.
They stopped taking C&D, I believe.
Yeah, they did,
So-
now it's the
I
ash.
thought it was extended one more year.
It is, but that's for the ash coming from the Covanta plant, I believe. So, which the waste to energy is a whole nother,
So everything's getting chipped off the island.
It's a nice back scratcher.
it is a back scratcher.
It's
I
night.
got it from my niece.
Oh,
We took it away from her though, because she was hitting everybody in the head with it.
That's why it's pink.
So. All right, thank you.
All right, well done.
Thanks, Tom.
Love these updates. So normally that would bring us to the town council and supervisor updates, but I'm not sure what, you wanted Sean to speak to something?
No, I just have a quick little slide presentation, just of some points, and Andrew's, I think, in the process of bringing that up, but why don't we just have Tom?
Okay, Tom,
And
would you like to
Sean's
get
just
us
gonna be
started?
here just to answer any additional questions, so, go ahead, Tom, why don't you start with your
My
updates?
update? This is Black History Month, and
Thanks, Andrew.
Suffolk County Office of Multicultural Affairs and Community Engagement is having an event on February 19th at the H. Lee Dennison Building, and they have asked our town, as well as all the towns in Suffolk County, to nominate a person to be honored from our, it doesn't necessarily have to be from our town, but nominate someone that we think of distinction that they could invite and honor at that event on February 19th. The chairman of our anti-bias task force has given me his suggestion of 3 names that we might want to consider, but I don't want to, talk about it right here. I think I'll reach out, talk to the board members, and come to a consensus about who we might want to suggest be honored at that event on February 19th. And that's all I have right now.
Thank you. You ready?
Okay.
So
thank you.
I went, had a great meeting with CTV and the Highway Department. They're going to be launching up to do some work to begin the documenting and recording for the Highway Department PSA. It'll be a nice little overview of the various responsibilities and projects that the Highway Department is doing. And I also had a CAC West meeting yesterday where we talked about a number of issues, and one of them was the resolution that I'm introducing of the land disturbance code to restrict tree clearing and land disturbance. I shared some slides, and I thought it'd be a really good idea to just kind of just go over again what the impetus of this initiative really is. And I'll be brief as possible. But I just want to kind of explain for the public's awareness here that we have heard from communities, we've heard from hamlets across the town frustration that we have not kept up with the unfettered clear cutting of land of our natural resources, especially those natural resources that fall outside of APOD, the Aquifer Protection Overlay District. We have nothing in the code right now that speaks to anything outside of that or the Pine Barrens or wetlands, which puts us in a very vulnerable predicament when it comes to putting stop orders on a project where we see, extent tree clearing or excavation. And this is not just coming from the communities that we're hearing. We hear it from the town attorney's office. We hear it from the public safety, code enforcement, Ryan Murphy. We worked with Janice. And we worked on this last year. We came up with a model that really kind of reflected what some of the other towns have done, like Brookhaven and East Hampton. But this time we introduced that last year. We didn't seem to have agreement on the board, so we went back to the drawing board. And we kind of looked at all the different models, but recreated it to satisfy and fit our own town procedures. So there is a lot of tools that we will have at our disposal based on the creation of this bill. And what this bill will mean is that any swath of uncultivated land that's outside of APOD, we will now have some regulatory arm and some regulatory teeth, which is critically important because there are examples, and I could cite them, but there are examples where we see builders or developers go in and they have the site plan, but and they get their permits, but what ends up happening is they clear cut, and that whole thing is secondary. And when they go to the town, well, you have to revegetate. And then if they tend to go to court, we don't really have a leg to really stand on in terms of how we enforce that, especially if it falls outside of those critical environmental categories that I cited. So with this, I believe that we will have now much more effectiveness in regulating the clear cutting of these lands. So the main provisions of the legislation here are that permits, there will be a permitting structure, will be required for any disturbance greater than 800 square feet. That originally we looked at 500 square feet, but Councilwoman McNamara made a good point. You don't want to account for people that may be, doing something like a pool or so on and so forth. So we wanted greater flexibility in that. So we amended that to 800 square feet on residential lots larger than half an acre, and then greater than 1,000 square feet on a commercial lot greater than an acre. So this bill really specifically also protects our tree health across the board. We know that trees are important for our environment. We know they're good for carbon capture, lowering greenhouse gases. So this fits some of our goals of sustainability as well. And in addition, we know that major grade changes and excavation do lead to issues of drainage and flooding in our neighboring communities. So this really tries to address various externalities that come with clear cutting and excavation that is non-permitted. So we want to prevent these grade changes from occurring. We want to protect our habitats. We want to protect from soil erosion, flooding, water pollution. I also want to say there are different carve-outs here. There are exemptions such as removing hazardous dead trees, wildfire safety, agricultural maintenance, and emergency repairs that are needed. So there are exemptions to this. And, there are people, that's very important. And some people have said, well, the town isn't able to really, enforce this. Well, they always cite the fact that our stop work orders or our stop orders tend to really not go far enough. Right now we raise the minimum stop order fines to $750 to max $1,000. That's a good point. And that's what typically we rely on to help correct some of the non-compliance that we see and the impacts to these environmental swaths of land. However, here, what we've done, and thanks to Sean Cambridge, violations will be classified as an unclassified misdemeanor, carrying fines up to $3,000 per day. So there's greater teeth that the town will have, requiring that there be a permitting process of the widespread removal of trees or excavation to the ground of uncultivated land. So again, just for the public's edification, we will be scheduling the public hearing on February 10th at 1 p.m. for the Tuesday, March 24th town board meeting at 6 o'clock. So I just wanted to go over that, and if Sean, if you don't mind just sharing the process that we have sort of endeavored upon to try to get to this particular point.
And also, could you speak to the penalty, because I was kind of remembering something that we did before where you had said we can't go over $1,000, so could you explain that?
Sure. How about we take that first?
Okay.
So violations, which are non-criminal offenses, have a maximum of $1,000. Unclassified misdemeanors have a maximum of $1,000. Otherwise, we're getting into classed misdemeanors, which we don't have jurisdiction over. So Class A, Class B, Class C, and so on and so forth. Felonies, we don't have jurisdiction over.
Is this a criminal?
So this is a criminal action. A violation is a non-criminal action. Councilman Isley asked that this draft be a criminal action if you're convicted of this, a violation of this chapter. So this would be a permanent criminal record if you were convicted. You know, you go to trial, you lose, you have a criminal record for clearing trees.
So you have a 5-acre property, you clear a 20 by 50 area for your kid's swing set, you face criminal charges now if you don't get a permit first.
You face them.
Notice a violation first, of course.
So it's an escalation procedure. All of our cases are escalation procedures. So first is a voluntary compliance period with a notice of violation. Next, you're arraigned in justice court, and arraignment's a formal reading and charges. Well, right, you'd have to be non-compliant to even enter this realm, right? From there, once
Well,
you're
how do you
arraigned-
remedy it? You replant and
so
revegetate?
we currently do this, actually. So I mean, much of the public was left with this perception that we have no clearing regulation whatsoever after our last work session, which is not correct. We're actually pretty aggressive in clearing regulations for APOD, for pine barrens, for coastal erosion areas.
But not outside of that.
Right, so I kind of drew this up just for a little visualization. We're really talking about this core area that's not protected by any of those things I just
Can you
mentioned.
point to that?
So it's kind of right in the middle of each side of the canal here. In the middle, we have a Pine Barrens overlay district on each side. So the middle, like the dead middle of the island, is protected with a clearing restriction already. The coastal areas are either coastal erosion or APOD, or a mix of the two. So that's all your shorelines are already protected and a set foot boundary in from the waterways. So we're really talking about kind of the middle of the town, outside of incorporated villages, and that are not otherwise regulated by SWIP. So this is not as vast of a...
But it is, because it's more restrictive than what currently stands in the APOD. You don't need a permit to clear within your limitations in APOD. Now you will need a permit.
So this is drafted that the more restrictive application of law would prevail.
So you need a permit in APOD now as well, even if you're clearing within your limitations.
Potentially, maybe. Usually APOD's going to be more restrictive than what we've drafted here. I think in most instances, unless it's like a very unique property, it is going to be a more restrictive already existing regulation.
I'm just going to say, it's being put forward to the community that this is a clear-cutting restriction. This is
Land
more than a
disturbance code.
clear-cutting restriction, which I totally agree with closing that loophole that allows developers to currently clear-cut a property before they go in for site plan. But this is somebody who has a 5-acre piece of property and wants to clear a 20 by 40 area, which is the size of your standard swimming pool, now has to get a permit, which is completely in the town's reasoning as to where you can clear, how you can clear, and what you can clear for. There's nothing
But you're
set
already
in this
going
law
for-
that says you have the right to clear for X, Y, and Z, or, these uses are prohibited for clearing for. And I asked the land management director this question, and she said, no, it's the town's discretion. I don't feel the town should tell you what use of your own property is permissible for clearing your property.
But then how do you close the loophole? If you're saying we should close the loophole, this is closing the loophole.
This is not closing
Because
the-
if
this
you're
is
go- if
so
you're- hold on,
broad.
let me finish. If you're gonna be putting in a swimming pool, you're going for a permit anyway. So instead of having to clear cut first, then go for the permit, you're now going to the building department and they're gonna tell you, you have to now get a permit for that clear cutting before you get this approval for the pool. So the whole goal here, and the planning board has faced this at numerous points in its history, that you have developers who come in with a plan and they say, we want to implement this. Well, you already cleared that. Now you have to re-veg. And those re-veg plans, sometimes they, get back to where they originally had trees planted or whatnot. But oftentimes they struggle to get that re-veg plan fully adopted
It's
in.
never quite the same. I think we always, and I would say 1 or 2 or 3 revegetation plans came before the planning board, almost every meeting, it was 1 or 2 or 3. And we all acknowledge that revegetation plan is a nice attempt, but it's not like what was there.
Well, not only that, but they do the re-veg and then they get their CO and they rip out the re-veg anyway, so it's a moot point, because now you're talking about scrub stuff that doesn't really amount to anything. But the point is, this isn't just for developers, this is for homeowners that own their property, and it's a 20 by 40 area, even if you own 5 acres, 10 acres. I mean, it's not a percentage of your property like you have in APOD. It's a defined area that you now have to get a permit for, fence off, clear.
But Cindy, if you read the law, and by the way,
I'm
hold on,
I'm gonna
let me just-
support
let me
getting
just-
public comment on this.
Thank you,
I
I
just think
appreciate
it's
that.
very far
But
overreaching.
may I address some of your points? I think it's very important.
We can have, I'd rather have this debate during the public hearing, and I know you're trying to do this during a work session. Let's let it go to the public, let's
Why are
get
you
public
getting- why are you
input,
getting so
and then we
loud?
can debate this when we go through the law.
But you made some points that I think deserve addressing.
This wasn't on for our work session today, and you're basically
hold on a
steamrolling in a
second.
work
No, I'm
session.
not. No,
This
I'm
is not
not.
on our agenda. This is not an update.
This is an update
This is
because-
a work session agenda, Michael. And if you want to
it's
have another
absolutely
work
an
session
update.
before you schedule a work session, then have a work session.
We allow
You've already
Councilman Pell
put
to share
forward the
photos
legislation.
of various things that he's been working on. This is something I've been working on.
You're presenting a public hearing, not in a public
I'm
hearing
not
setting,
not
not
presenting
with
a
the
public
public
hearing.
able to weigh in.
The public deserves to know, because you were at a CAC where I was told that you mocked the legislation, and what they told me that you said about the legislation was incorrect.
What I said is
So
what exactly I
hold on,
said here.
Cindy, you're the one addressing this matter. I want to make sure that I'm providing the public with the information ahead of time, and you're making some points that deserves to be addressed. You're belaboring this. We could
When
be.
you
we
use
could
words
be,
like clear cutting, that's not what this is. 20 by 40 is not clear cutting.
that's incorrect.
And when you
This
go
is-
to the public and you tell them this is legislation that will stop people from clear cutting, your first slide is a forest being decimated. And when you say that to people, they agree with you. I would agree with you. But when you get into the legislation, which when you've presented this, you haven't given them the actual legislation. I'm saying the legislation is here, put it out there, schedule the public hearing,
Of
let
course,
people
but
read the legislation and
Cindy,
decide for themselves.
With respect, may I please address your comments?
Absolutely.
You have gone way above and beyond. I cannot believe you right now. This is unreal. This resolution does deal with tree clearing, does it not, Sean?
So all legislation like this is a balancing test. It's personal freedom and public good, and you're weighing those two factors. And the work group's taken a stab at kind of just putting something together, and that's why it's kind of hanging in the work session
And
phase.
and it does address tree clearing, Sean, because one of the goals that was not also addressed was other types of land disturbance, which was Ryan Murphy's suggestion.
Right.
We shouldn't just account for tree clearing. We need to account for other things as well. Was that correct?
The exercise of putting this draft together was to take a survey of what's done in Suffolk County and come up with something, and then you as the policymakers can decide what you'll do with that something.
And I just want to mention really briefly that this law does allow for customary use and minor land disturbing activities, things like home gardens, things that are below the 800 square foot threshold for residential properties. It allows to ensure that average homeowners, can enjoy their properties and not be bombarded with. Anybody under this threshold is not going to be subject subjected to this regulation. But our natural environment has to be respected, and we have to control for unfettered overdevelopment. We have resolutions that we have coming up that deals with streamlining various development processes. So I want to make sure that we're protecting our residents from these outsized outfits that could radically alter the character of our community and our environment. It's a very, I think, common sense approach. Other towns have these kinds of regulations.
So I have a very oversimplified rundown of what the other towns are doing, and I think it makes sense to present because you can all decide who you want to be like and who you don't want to be like. Town of Huntington has a very strict rule in the books. It's 3 small trees or 1 landmark tree, otherwise you need a permit. Babylon, all land clearing requires a permit, so they're very, very strict. Smithtown, 10 trees without a permit, then everything else needs a permit. And you'll see some of these are models that we've discussed throughout work session. That's just why I want to highlight it, because at the end of the day, it is policy. It's what you all feel is best. For
We
your
are a
constituents.
rural community with tons of woodland. We have to have something on the books to regulate widespread land clearing.
Right, Islip is all clearing, requires a permit. Brookhaven is,
Any clearing at all?
Yes.
Can you send us that too, so we all have
Sure.
that in front of us?
I can send actually the link to each code section
Okay, yeah.
on Ecode 360. Brookhaven has an
Well,
exemption.
I mean, the summary too that you're
Sure.
doing right now, so we don't
Of
have to
course.
read everything.
Absolutely.
Right.
Brookhaven has an exemption under 2 acres. So they're really focusing their enforcement on over 2 acres, but they're also a very, very large municipality. They're a county-sized municipality.
I thought there was an acre, but you're saying it's 2 acres.
They had a 2 acre. I checked it this morning. They had updated that in 2016. Riverhead essentially has what we have in place now as our neighbor. Southold is having the same discussions we are now. They have a draft code that's going back and forth, in their legislative process. Shelter Island is very restrictive, but they're also a lot smaller than us. So their code mentions significant clearing, and they litigate what the meaning of significant is, but they have far fewer homes that are involved in this. East Hampton is drastically more lenient than the town of Southampton. Their restrictions allow for a lot of clearing up until you hit 80,000 square feet, and then they're very regulated. So just so you have a spectrum of where everybody is and, what you'd all like to do, that's why I prepared this today. It is policy at the end of the day. Is your personal freedom or the public good, what's the more important thing? And, what constitutes each of those things? So that's something for you all to think about, obviously, and I'll be here for the public hearing on this to answer any questions about how these places do these things. Any other questions for me?
Thank you, Sean.
No, March 24th, right? Thank you. See you then, thank you. All right, let's see, I went to Senator Palumbo's Environmental Roundtable, its annual event, and, they talked about the governor's proposed changes to seeker and solid waste management, but Tom Houghton was there also, and I was very proud to be able to tell everyone about our initiatives with the glass crusher and the food waste, and Tom spoke in detail about them, so that was nice. No one else had this kind of a report to give. And that's all I have to say. Bill?
Well, my friend Jim in Hampton Bays will be very happy that the DEC's going to look at the new set of plans today or tomorrow. I should hear back from DEC next week. Then once we hear back from them, there's no changes.
For what?
Penny Pond.
Oh, good. Yeah.
And then we can go out to bid on that.
What they think they'll issue the permit, you say?
Yes.
Yeah.
Once they issue the permit, so there's no changes, then we can go out to bid. Then Frank is meeting last night. I missed because I was just getting over a cold, and that's about it. And no slides today.
No slides? All right, thank you. Cindy?
Just that the pet food drive continues. I want to thank town employees. They filled up a whole box downstairs. This goes on until February 20th, and the orders online for Hometown Heroes banners is live if you would like to put in an order for a banner.
Now, is that Good Ground Park this year?
Yeah.
Very good, thank you.
Yep.
All right, so if anyone else has any other comments, I move to go into executive session to discuss personnel, litigation, confidential legal advice, and then close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks, everyone.